Hi, I'm Laura Dewey, and this is a little fable called Lulu's Ladder, One Girl's Tale of Transcendence. Lulu grew up with a mother who was wildly emotional. She yelled and screamed one minute and cried the next. Lulu's mother had a hard time living in the world. Her father, on the other hand, showed very little emotion. He worked hard, and there was no doubt, should the dragon come around, he could slay it. He was Lulu's hero. It's no wonder that Lulu grew up confused about emotions. To her, most emotions were bad, and openly showing emotions was a sign of instability, even craziness, so she avoided them at all cost. Lulu grew up in the country and loved to take walks down the lane to escape the craziness of her house. She traveled the same route more times than she could count. She knew every rock and tree. One spring day, much to her surprise, she came upon a very strange sight. There was a ladder right in the middle of the lane, and it wasn't leaning on anything. It was standing all by itself. Clearly, this was a magic ladder. Always up for an adventure, she went to put her foot on the first rung and was surprised when it was slapped by a little elf. Startled, she said, "What do you mean, slapping me? Who are you, anyway?" "I'm Fergus. I slapped you to get your attention. I'm the keeper of this ladder, and you can't go up it until I say so." "Well," said Lulu, "what do I have to do to climb this ladder? Where does it go? Why is it here, right in the middle of my lane?" Fergus went on to explain, "I've seen you walk this lane more times than I can count. What you don't know is that I have magic powers that give me the ability to hear what you're thinking. Over and over, I've heard you think about how emotions are bad. I just can't sit idly by any longer. I knew it was time to show you my magic ladder of emotions." "I knew this ladder was magic," she said. "Tell me more." "Well," said Fergus, "this is privileged information and only for those who want to live a marvelous life. Are you one of those people?" "Oh, yes, I want to live a marvelous life. I do. Fergus goes on to say, "All right then, let's begin. Listen closely. Each rung of the magic ladder represents a different emotion. At the bottom, we've got emotions like fear, anger, resentment, self-doubt, hate, hopelessness, guilt, envy, and shame. At the top, we've got emotions like peace, joy, love, creativity, inspiration, hope, compassion, and gratitude. Are you following me?" Following. By now, Lulu's enthralled with this little elf. It's so strange for her to hear him talk so openly about emotions. Like a puppy waiting for a treat, she says, "Yes, I'm following you. I want to climb the magic ladder. Can I climb it now?" "Yes, under one condition," says Fergus. "I want you to step up slowly and not stop until you get to the 9th rung. Once you're on the 9th rung, you have to stop and wait for instructions. Deal?" "Deal! Oh, goody, here I go." Lulu's excitement is over the moon. 1, 2, 3. Lulu went up the ladder. All of a sudden, she was exhausted. The excitement she felt only a minute ago was gone. Poof! She had to rest a minute. It was so hard taking the next 2 steps. There she was on the 5th rung. And you know what? She didn't even care that she was there. She was overcome with a feeling of apathy and lethargy. In fact, she began to curl up and take a nap. In the distance, she heard Fergus yelling up to her, "Lulu, we had a deal. You're not to stop until the 9th rung." Ugh, Lulu thought. Yeah, I kind of remember that. Oh, up she went, not even sure where she found the power. By now the darkness was overwhelming, and the desire to sleep had merged with a need to hide. She was now aware that the elf was looking up at her, and she didn't like it. "Don't look at me, Mr. Elf," she said, and she started to weep. Before she knew it, Fergus had flown up to the 9th rung and was hovering next to her like a hummingbird. "Lulu, I'm so proud of you. You've made it through the first 9 rungs of the ladder. This is the very first time you've allowed yourself to feel fear, anger, resentment, self-doubt, hate, hopelessness, guilt, envy, and shame. And you know what? You're still here. You're still alive." Though Lulu had pulled her sweater up over her head by now, Fergus's words got through to her. She had felt those emotions, each one, and she is still alive. And, to her amazement, she didn't feel crazy either. Fergus then lifted her and flew her up to the 10th rung. "You'll feel better here. This is the place of neutrality." "Oh, thank you," she said. "This is much better. I don't know what came over me." Fergus looked at her knowingly and said, "I do. You've just experienced what it's like to be at the bottom of the ladder. Tell me, what was that like for you?" "Well," she said, "the first thing I noticed was that I had no energy. Before I put my foot on the ladder, I was so excited. Within a second or two, I was totally wiped out." "Yes," Fergus nodded, "there's little or no energy to be had at the bottom of the ladder. What else did you notice?" "I had an overwhelming desire to hide. I looked around hoping I was in my bedroom because all I wanted to do was close the shades and pull the covers up over my head." "Excellent," said Fergus. "Now you've experienced everything you needed to at the bottom of the ladder. You've just completed the first part of this challenge with flying colors. Are you ready for what's next?" Lulu shrugged her shoulders and said, "I could stay here or go up. It doesn't really matter." To this, Fergus giggled. A response like that is very common from a place of neutrality. He'd heard it at least 1,000,000 times before over just the past 1,000 years. "In that case, I'll make the decision for you. Please continue up the ladder. It sounds silly to say, but remember to stop at the top. You'll know what I mean in a minute." At Fergus's urging, she stood up and put her foot on the 11th rung. Ooh! She got a tingle. Within just a few seconds, there she was at the top of the ladder. She'd climbed the last 8 rungs in the blink of an eye. "Where's the next rung? I want more, more, more. I could climb this ladder forever and ever." This time Fergus climbed up to join her at the top of the ladder. "See? You almost fell off looking for the next rung. It's pretty nice up here, isn't it?" "Nice? Are you crazy? Nice just doesn't cut it. This is incredible. I'm on top of the world," said Lulu. "I have more energy than I know what to do with, and I feel like I can do anything, even fly." Whoop! Fergus was ready for this. Lulu had stepped off the top rung and tried to fly, as so many had done before her. "Come on back, Missy. We've got to finish our business." Lulu brushed herself off and said, "Oh, phew! Thank you for saving me. I'm sorry I scared you. It's just that I feel anything's possible up here, even flying." Fergus, now holding on to her ankle, said, "I really get that. Your reaction is not unusual. It's a natural byproduct of being at the top of the ladder." "Well, if that's what it's like being at the top of the ladder, I want to be here all the time," Lulu said with conviction. "I don't want anything to do with those bad emotions that live at the bottom of the ladder. I want to stay here in the good emotions." "Ah, now wait just a minute," Fergus said, now very serious. "This is why I asked you to stop at the top. We got to talk. You see, on the magic ladder, there's no such thing as a bad or a good emotion. Here, emotions are classified as either low energy or high energy. Every emotion is important because they tell us there's something going on inside of us. Most humans I run into not unlike you, label emotions as good and bad, and then they stuff the bad ones. They don't allow themselves to feel those quote-unquote bad emotions. When you stuff the low energy emotions, they build up inside of you and start dragging you down the ladder. And some humans even explode. Instead of stuffing emotions, let yourself feel them. If you want to cry, cry. And cry until you run out of tears. This will release the low energy, and then you can begin moving around on the ladder freely again. Make sense? Lulu stopped chewing her finger long enough to say, "So you're saying that emotions are neither good nor bad. They just are. We should let ourselves feel all of them equally. Just let them come up and out. Right?" "That's right, Lulu." Fergus looked on with pride. Lulu was on a roll now. "I get what you're saying, but it just plain felt bad at the bottom of the ladder. When I was on the rungs of fear, anger, resentment, self-doubt, hate, hopelessness, guilt, shame, and envy, I had no energy, remember? All I wanted to do was hide." Ding, ding! You've just answered your own question. Fergus was now bobbing up and down on his curly toes. You got this. When you feel those emotions, that's what you get. Low energy. When you feel the emotions at the top of the ladder, what do you get? High energy. Voila! Case closed. "I get it," Lulu said with excitement. Remember, she's still high on the ladder. "I can feel any way I want. I just need to be ready to accept the energy consequence of that emotion. If I'm full of fear and self-doubt, I can expect to come to a screeching halt and probably want to hide. If I'm joyful, I can expect to feel powerful, like anything's possible." Bingo! The elf was hovering again. So here's the big question, the zinger. Where would you rather be? At the bottom or the top of the ladder? "Silly elf, I'd rather be at the top of the ladder, of course." "Well," said Fergus, "how do you plan to get there and stay there?" "Well, I'm there right now," she said, exasperated. "Lulu, you're at the top of my magic ladder now. If you plan to live your life, you have to leave my ladder and find your own." "Oh, I didn't know." "You mean I have to go back home and I have to go to school?" "Yes, that's right," said Fergus. "And when you do, you'll find yourself up and down the ladder throughout your days. Up and down, down and up. So I'm going to ask you again. How do you plan to get to the top of the ladder and stay there?" "Well, I'm not sure," she said with a tone of self-defeat. She was startled to find herself slipping down the magic ladder. Tell me. I don't want to slide down the ladder. I don't like the way I feel down there." "Brilliant! This is brilliant!" Fergus seemed inappropriately excited about her sinking. "You already know the first secret. Notice you're sinking down the ladder and make a decision that you don't want to sink." Okay, I got that. What else? I'm still sinking." She was panicked now. "Don't be afraid. You're just falling to the level of self-doubt, maybe even fear. All you have to do is replace those emotions with one at the top of the ladder. Let's try hope. Can you muster up some hope right now?" I guess so. Well, I know this is something I can learn. I think I just need more practice. Whoa, I'm floating up again. Let me guess. I'm going to the rung of hope? That's right, Lulu. In order to move up the ladder, you need to make a choice. You need to think a thought or do an activity that will evoke a high-level emotion. It's as simple as that. Wait, what did you say about an activity? Lulu doesn't miss much. Well, can you think of any activities that bring you joy? That when you do them, you forget what time it is, you forget to eat, you may even forget to sleep? What do you love to do, Lulu? Now Lulu was on her not-so-curly toes. Oh, that's easy. I love to color, I love to play out in nature, and I love to spend time with my best friend, Candy. There you have it, said Fergus, knowing his time with Lulu was almost complete. When you feel yourself sinking down the ladder, do something you love, and you'll float right up to the top again. Could it really be that simple? Lulu felt Fergus release his grip on her ankle, and a funny thing happened. She started to fly.